Welcome everyone, it's BP here on another 7 Days to Die video, Alpha 19.6. So today's video we actually have a base build, so I'll be running you through all of that and the design parts to it, because you can raid people's bases on this server, but only if that person is actually online, where if offline you can't get in there. So we'll be leaving from our fun build, which was from the last video, so we'll meet you over at the base build. Okay, so we're coming in to the base build right now. So we'll put this away first. Oh, there's some zombies here. That seems like a lot, apparently. Okay, so this is the garage section, which isn't too bad. I don't know why that's flickering though. Very bizarre. Let's have a look. No, that's not overloaded. Anyway, so in the back of the garage, obviously you have our power system for everything because of our turrets and lighting. Once again, these aren't normally craftable, these lights. Because I got admin to put in the lighting mod so we could actually craft them. So there we go again. So we actually have the other more power systems in here, garage, powering everything up. So obviously we've got access to our turrets, which is super handy when you got to reload them. Obviously if they get through this door, they are greeted with 2 more turrets. So you got to defend yourself pretty quickly. We'll just flick them off. Obviously, motion sensor for the powered doors, so you can get in and out from both sides. With these, you do have to link the 2 cameras, otherwise it won't actually work. So therefore, it is a pain in the butt because you have to have them close by so they can link with one another. That's not too bad, but it is a pain in the butt at this time. Alright, let's go have a look. I will explain this bit. So you can see the solar banks down there. So basically what I do is I put it's like a half block there, and then you can put another one down as well. So therefore it's still 2 blocks they have to get through if they want to get down into that room. Otherwise coming through the room, like the powered door. The light does go through, which is super handy. I haven't tested if you can do a 3rd one. I'm still yet to test that to see if the solar panels still generate power or not. But currently with the 2 block system like this, they do still generate power. So therefore it gives them kind of some protection as well, which is super handy. Okay, the actual base part, as you can see, there's turrets facing basically all angles around. And as you heard them all before, there must have been a heap of zombies come up before, and it basically flooded them with bullets, basically. So as you can see, it is a pretty straightforward build. It is, it's just a square, so it makes it a little bit easier for setting it all up. You've got this section around here. This does go a fair way down, both 2 runs, so if people felt like they were going to be able to just dig down and then come up underneath, they will be greeted with a nice wall all the way down. So that makes it a little bit harder for them. So, because some people do, they will dig under and then come up, because they find, most people don't protect the bottom of their base. So you've got to make sure you do this. It makes it just a little bit harder. So, okay, so we'll go in. Now, another part which is always good, handy to remember, most people will go through the blocks because the durability of the blocks, even upgraded to steel, they're not as high as the doors. So therefore, a good indicator of what people will do, which I will always do, is either 2 or 3 rows of blocks, because it means they've got to get through. It kind of forces them to go, oh well, this is going to be a lot harder. So if they get through these 2 doors, if they choose to go through the doors, they're greeted with 2 more turrets, which is always fun. So, and if we come through here, I will just quickly show you. So this goes all the way around. So it's just like an open space. So what we will show you, this is essentially how I access my turrets all around. So by doing this, I access everything. I can add ammo, repair them if needed. And this goes all the way around. So you got it like an open space. Up there, it's more double blocks and stuff, so people have to go through a whole heap of blocks to get through into this sort of space. So once again, you got to keep in mind, if people are going to raid, you got to make it difficult, because they do tend to go through the blocks because it's easier. So if they manage to make it through into here, they're greeted with more turrets. I was going to add more facing into these zones as well. I just haven't got around to it. Quick drop boxes are always really handy to have. So like say you've killed someone, you've taken all their loot, or you've got a heap of loot on you but someone's chasing you, but you don't want to lose your loot, have it in here, quickly drop it in, and you can run straight back out without having the fear of losing all your loot. You've got 4 rooms as well. Only one of them is occupied at the moment. Obviously a base this size, if you had a heap of people, it's pretty handy, because you can all have like your own separate space, which is kind of handy. The one that is being used is medical one. Same thing. So obviously all of them are powered up. They've all got lighting in them. These are all just the standard lights at the moment. We do have a lighting mod in here, which admin put in, which I do appreciate, because it gives us that extra, especially like fun builds and stuff. It just gives you that extra customization, which makes it come up pretty handy. So that's this level. So you've got this section here. This is also another thing that's super handy. Because we have a skill called parkour, we can jump quite high. So this is another thing that's also very handy. If someone manages to get through, you could have all your loot up in another level. So therefore, they've got to somehow figure out how they're going to get up. And if they can't place a block down, they can't get up there. Which is always another handy thing to keep an eye on. Because parkour, people can jump. So with parkour, for me, it's just, that's how easy it is. But you've got to keep that in mind. If they can't place a block, they can't get up there. So we'll go up into this level. So once again, there's more rooms up here. And all powered up as well. Like all the lighting, everything. So once again, if you've got playing with heaps of people, they can all have their own space, which is always really handy. Always have your own personal room. Got to have it decked out to your liking. So as you can see, I put all recessed lights in here, only because I like them. They're not as bright as all the other lighting, but so you need more of them, but it's still pretty cool. If you're wondering with these, it is just a paint. It is called TV screen, so you can kind of get it to have the nice reflection and black screen and stuff like that. That's always really handy to put in. And obviously the wireless power boxes as well, which is always another cool mod in as well, because it eliminates seeing all the wires hanging down and makes it look all messy. So, and obviously your storage boxes as well. So we will continue going up. So this space, I didn't make it so you couldn't jump up, because I was like, this building is just going to get higher and higher. Then it wasn't necessary. So this is technically the top level. it's also the farm zone. So each side is all your crops, because you do need your farm, unfortunately, because food is painful. And up here, some people do iron bars, but I always choose bulletproof glass because the durability of them is actually higher than iron bars. It costs you more resources to make bulletproof glass, but you benefit from it because it has a higher durability to break through than iron bars. And you'll see some of these have doors. These, in all four corners of the base up top, there is sets of solar bar banks and battery banks. And there is 3 in each corner to power up everything in here, because there is so many turrets, so many lights. So usually the top 2 in each corner are for turrets, and the bottom ones are for lighting. So that's up the top here. So what we will do, we will go back down. And we'll pick all these up. We won't leave them there. So that's all the top area. And then we go down. Another good thing to remember is the floor. Make it the same. Make it 2 blocks, 3 blocks thick. So therefore, they're forced to have to try and go through the doors, because it takes them longer to get through the block, than going through the door. And you got to keep in mind, if it's a raidable server, it's not PvP, and it is PvE, it should be fine. PvP, where you do have base raiding, you've got to think of these things. You've got to make sure that it's harder for them to get through. So we'll wander down. This I made as my loot room. Normally, I would have put the loot room up top, so it's harder for them to get, because going down is always easy for people that are raiding. But for this purpose, I was just like, it was just the room, that's where I put it. So as you can see, it is handy when you lay things out. Put signs up so you know where everything goes, where everything is. And this would be just deemed as your main crafting room for bits and pieces. Always, you do start off with your wood secure chests. They're handy because it's just wood, but they don't store as much. So if you get these, which are the drawers, they store a lot more. So once you get to that stage and you can make them, use them over the storage chest, and the durability on them is much higher than the wood chests as well. So same thing with here. Make sure you do more than 1 row of blocks. Make it 2, 3, so it's harder for them to get down again. Continue down to the very bottom row. You may see I've got hay bales here, because still in Alpha 19, you can still use them. I can open up all of these doors, and I can jump straight down from the bottom to the bottom from the top, and I won't take any fall damage. It's very handy to have, especially if you're just going up and down when you're playing around and there's not too many people on or something like that, so you don't worry about leaving them open, because you can just jump straight all the way down. It's very handy. Okay, so these are my main crafting rooms, basically. So my forge room, so because this is a very big base, you need a lot of forges. Also, in turns, you also need a very big mine, because you need the resources. So make sure you have a mine away from your base so they can't kind of dig into that, but not too far away, so you don't have to run too far and risk being taken out. So once again, you label everything, because then you know where everything goes. And then obviously your workbench, because you need it. I thought about adding another one because it can be handy when you need to make a heap of stuff. Your camp station rooms, they're doing your fuel and everything else that you do with the camp station. I never feel I need more than 2 for certain things. I usually only tend to use it for gas because it's easier. And then your mixing room, the same concept as the forge room. You need a lot of them to be able to pump out a lot of resources, especially for bases this size. You need a lot of resources. So I did originally have my forge room up top, there wasn't as many forges. But then as I started making these rooms down here, that's when I started moving everything down. So once again, you use the drawers, label it so you know what's what. Makes it much easier than running around trying to find something that you've put somewhere and can't remember where you put it. So with this amount of cement mixes, you can crush sand, you can do your cement mix all at the same time without having to worry about too much downtime of waiting for stuff. So what we will do, we will go back up and I will show you what it looks like from the roof. Also keep in mind, you always have to make sure, if it is a raidable server, just put as many blocks to create a wall as possible. The thicker the wall, the better for you. It makes it always harder for them to get in. You want them to use as many resources as they can to get in. Oh, pressed it too soon. Okay, so what we will do, there is technically no way up onto the roof. Oh, that's disappointing. So we will just use the blocks to get up. Okay, so now that we're up on the roof, as you can see, it's a big space. So therefore it's very easy for someone to land on it from a helicopter or whichever type of mod that they might be running for vehicles. But the normal default one, the gyro, you need it. So as you can see, I've got turrets in every corner facing all directions. And then you come into the other middle section and that's covering up all the other open zones. So if someone lands on here, they are going to probably die multiple times. I also have turrets facing inwards, so if someone thought they can just land in the middle, be all safe, that won't happen either. They will also get hit by other turrets. So you've got to cover all angles. See, it's still got the half block up here. Unfortunately, I should have made the height of the top rooms one more block higher, because then I could have put another half block in to protect them. So it would be 2 blocks. But unfortunately, I'd already built it all, and I'm like, oh well, it's protected as much as I can up here, so it's not going to be as bad. So as you can see, bulletproof glass to all the farm areas. It just gives us a nice finish. You don't need as much bulletproof glass as this. There is one open block, like say one glass block, will do a certain radius below it. So I could take out probably the majority of this glass and it would be fine. But if you have one bit of glass, they're going to go through that over a steel block anyway. So you may as well just fill the whole thing with glass. But other than that, it's not too bad. Like as you can see, I can see out, see everything. So that's another thing you've always got to make sure if you've got a big space like this, even a small space, because I've even managed to land on a really small spot and on top of someone's base, which was tiny up on top, and I was still able to land up on top. So you've got to make sure you're protected. So everyone, that is my base basically on this server at the moment. I don't plan on doing much else to it because we do have Alpha 20 coming out very shortly. So yeah, I hope this helps you a little bit with kind of base design and layouts and stuff like that, and information about doing your walls, floors and roofs and stuff like that. Or always, if it is a raidable server, keep that in mind. The more blocks they've got to go through, the harder it is for them to get through into your base and take all your loot, your hard-earned loot. Anyway, thanks for watching everyone, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you.